goes the wrong way, and Ghana are going the right way.
Welcome back to the channel. As usual, I am your host, sellssi, and a big happy birthday to Lawrence Atizigi. Yes, he celebrates his birthday today after such a heroic performance. A great way to celebrate the birthday after getting the Black Stars' first 3 points in the Qatar 2022 World Cup. It was back to a recovery training session for the boys today as they prepare for that all-important Uruguay clash. And I'm sure you've heard it by now. Uruguay, they lost to Portugal last night 2-0, which means that a draw could be possible to get Ghana through to the next stage of a competition should South Korea avoid winning versus Portugal, which looks very likely. But we should not rest on that and think that it is a done deal. It's going to be a tough match. Uruguay is a do or die affair for them. They have 1 point. They can beat us and go to the next round. They would know it, and they would also want to do that. So let's focus on the game. Today we're going to talk a bit about yesterday's game, what we need to improve ahead of the Uruguay clash, and a look at the Black Stars recovery training session which took place early on today. As usual, subscribe if you have not. Click on the notification bell to get more updates. So we'll jump right into it, and we'll talk first and foremost about yesterday's game. An enthralling encounter for the Ghana Black Stars versus South Korea, where they got all 3 points. Kudus Mohammed, the man of the match, with a brace, the first Ghanaian to score a brace in a World Cup game for the Ghana Black Stars. Mohamed Salisu as well set a record, becoming the first defender to score for Ghana in the World Cup. They're calling him a Rolls-Royce type of defender. He was immense yesterday in that Black Stars defensive setup. It's talking about the Black Stars defensive setup, would be quite boring to Otuado that we've conceded 5 goals in 2 matches. Yes, defensive lapses are there. They need to be nipped in the bud if we want to go very far in this competition. The best defense usually does well in tournaments like this, and if we want to go far, as we are predicting a semi-final berth for ourselves, possibly bringing the trophy home, that defensive lapse needs to be nipped in the bud. It happened when we sort of got complacent and lost concentration at the back. 2 quick goals for the South Koreans almost gave them the impetus they needed to make it to the next stage of the competition. But we nipped it in the bud. Thankfully, we got the 3rd goal, which got us all 3 points. In that Uruguay game, we will need to work on that defensive lapse. That being said, it was a great performance all round by the boys. So we'll talk first and foremost about some of the records that were set in that game between Ghana and South Korea. South Korea have now scored 2 goals each in their last 4 FIFA World Cup against African teams. Now, the player who scored the 2 goals yesterday, Cho Gwin-song, is the first player to score 2 goals in a FIFA World Cup match for South Korea, as was the case for Kudus Mohammed. This is the first time that Ghana has scored 3 goals in a World Cup match. Kudus Mohammed becomes the first Ghanaian to score 2 goals in a World Cup match for Ghana. Ghana has not kept a clean sheet in any of their last 9 World Cup matches. It needs to be worked on if we want to get far. And finally, today's triumph ended Ghana's 6-game winless run in the FIFA World Cup group stage encounter after their previous victory coming against Serbia in their very first game in 2010. So a lot of records were set, a lot of records were broken. It was a night to remember for most Ghanaians here, and I was happy to be a part of history and be at that stadium as it happened. Andre Ayew talked about Jordan Ayew criticism yesterday, talking about the fact that Jordan has always been doing well in his opinion, and people just like to talk and criticize. I have to be honest, Jordan Ayew impressed immensely yesterday, and people will be saying that we need more of these performances from him. The criticism has been on it not being consistent enough, and those in that bracket might be right in that respect. They want more consistent performance from Jordan like this, and I think he would be doing that as the games go on in Qatar here. He knows He has experience. He talked about it. A post-match presser yesterday. He has the experience and he will deliver at this World Cup. There's a conversation that is brewing that I want to touch on before we look at what we need to do ahead of that Uruguay game. And it has to do with Iñaki Williams. His contribution in the setup has been a bit, should I put it, not so good so far. He's a striker, and what we expect from a striker is goals. Iñaki has been struggling for that. He has been influencing the games in a way that his tactical setup has been required of him. But yesterday, before Kudus Mohammed scored that third goal, he missed the ball, which can happen to anyone. But Iñaki has been struggling, a bit isolated up front. I think he needs a partner, and he's still not gotten a partner yet. Yesterday, once again, we saw how isolated he was. It was a bit of a bother. Should we be giving others some chance up front, like Antoine Semenyo, partnering him at least? Well, I think it will not be bad, but it should not be tried, probably not in the Uruguay game, since we really do need the 3 points there. Probably Antoine should be brought on early to get the chance to play for Ghana and also show himself. He has had very little chance to show himself, and the little chance he got, he was able to score a goal in that friendly versus Switzerland. I will not put it past him to impress if he is introduced early enough versus Uruguay. If he does not play alongside Iñaki, he should be replacing Iñaki in the second half. I know Iñaki will come good. He has quality. He will come good. We need to give him time. He will come good. His technical contribution in a tactical setup has been good so far. It's just the goals and the assists that have been lacking from him. And as a striker, that is your currency. If you are not doing that, many people might feel you are not doing much. I hope he does get the goals for the Ghana Black Stars, and I hope all others are also given the chance, especially Antoine Semenyo, who will be good enough to play for the Ghana Black Stars. Not against Uruguay, probably, but I want him to be introduced early enough in the game to probably also show us what he's capable of. Antoine deserves a chance, in my opinion. Today, after the recovery training session, they had some rest, and the players got back to preparing for the Uruguay game. It will be played Uruguay on Friday at 3 p.m. GMT. And I have a word of advice to the Black Stars players. It is not a revenge match. They should move that from their heads. It's just another game that they need to get all 3 points from. This is not a vendetta. That is not the mindset I would like them to go into the game with. I would like them to go into the game with the mindset of getting all 3 points. The fans can have that mindset, and that is what they are trying to imbibe into the players. I would not encourage any player going into the game to think about it as such. It was 12 years ago. Most of the players who played for Ghana, in fact, have retired, except for Andre Ayew, who is still playing for the Ghana Black Stars. So it's quite clear that it's in the past and we should move on from that. Andre Ayew is the only player in the Ghana setup who was a member of the team at the time. Suarez is still with them. Cavani is also still with the team, and also a few other players in there. But I have to say, and I have to tell you, that that is not the right mindset to go into the game with. It's just another game we need to get all 3 points from. An update on Gideon Mensah. He is fit, and nothing to keep him out for long. He is fit. He was with the team for the recovery training session as well, and he will take part if called upon by Coach Otuado in that final game against Uruguay. So that is it there. A bit of a update on the team news. Everyone is fit and ready to go. Kudus Mohammed, great game for him. Atisigi, happy birthday. Great performance yesterday from Lawrence Atisigi. Great keeping us and getting us and saving those 3 points for us. It was a great game yesterday, and we hope that, looking forward to that Uruguay game, we'll look at these defensive lapses that have led to us conceding 5 goals in 2 matches. Today, Qatar out, but Senegal have a chance to make it to the next round should they overcome Ecuador. Also, Netherlands possibly come top the group if they overcome the host Qatar. So all to play for in Group A and Group B as well. We'll be settling things today. We wish all the teams the very best. Wish the Black Stars the very best. Let me know your thoughts in the comments box. How should the boys approach the Uruguay game in your opinion? I'll see you guys in the next one. Enjoy the rest of your evening.